Welcome back, everybody, to episode 19 of your favorite podcast. I don't know. First episode of 2023.
First episode, we are back.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. I know everyone missed us.
I'm sure they did.
Your
It must have been
brown girls.
a terrible few weeks without us.
We're so sorry we were not here.
But we are now.
Yeah, but we're back.
And we're here with a very, very special guest today, my beautiful mom.
Yay.
Hi.
Anita.
Hi.
Also known by Anita.
Yes, also known by Anita.
Mom/Anita.
Mom/Anita, yes. We're super excited to have her on. But before we get into the why that we brought on Anita today, we go into weekend recap.
Okay.
Because it's been a little bit.
It has been a little bit.
So what did you get up to this weekend, Sana?
So this weekend, Amit, friend of the pod, had his baby.
Yay.
Beginning of January.
Exciting.
So we met his baby on Friday for the first time. So that was really cute. It was fun. It was just like a little family dinner, and we met the little guy.
Sweet.
He had a boy. So we did that. Saturday went out with Aisha. Definitely a different turn of events of an evening. We're not going to get into detail right now, but
Not right now. We will do.
But words
A deep
of
dive.
advice: when your friends tell you some things, and not to be friends with certain people, maybe you should consider listening.
You might want to listen. Yeah. Or when your mom says things.
When your mom and friends, say,
That's right.
don't do things, and then you're like, think you know better.
We've all been there. We have all been
We
there.
have all been there. So.
No, we will get the scoop about it in a few episodes once. This is all I'm going to say. Once the trauma has worn off, we will do a deep dive. And it'll be a great episode.
The highlight of the evening, we did get to see Mango. So
That's true. Yeah. Mango the cat.
Mango the cat.
Which again will be part of the story. All will be revealed in due time. Anita, what did you do this weekend?
Pretty much not a whole lot, but Friday I was excited to see the little baby, Asher. We're so happy to have him in our family. It's
a cute name,
So,
too.
so cute.
Yeah, sweet.
Saturday, just busy working. I'm a realtor, so it was a really busy day with appointments. And then at night, I was didn't get much sleep. My daughter was out, so I'm a little worried, what's going on. But anyway.
Fun fact, whenever I'm out, my mom will stalk my location. Is she there's no rest until I have returned. And she knows I'm safe.
I have
I'm
the
safe.
hall light on, and she has to turn it off when she walks in. So But it was all right. As long as I know she's safe, and that's the most important thing to me, I'm good.
Yeah, no, totally. I honestly, that is the one thing that scares me about having kids. I don't know if I could handle the anxiety of not knowing where they're at or what they're doing or not being able to get a hold of them. That gives me hardcore anxiety.
Well, maybe you'll get an angelic daughter like me because my mom always knows where I'm at.
Yeah,
oh, that
I
never
do.
does anything.
Yes. No, she's not. She's a good girl, but she's
She
not
always
angelic.
knows. Okay, fine.
she's a
Compared
good
to my
girl,
son,
but she
I would
dumb.
say, yeah.
She always knows where I am, okay?
I do
This is
know.
true. This is true.
Yeah. She never fights it.
Yeah. We'll see. There you go. No, but it's true. It's as long as you know that they're safe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think about it. I'm my anxiety would just be through the roof.
Yeah.
Would not be able to sleep. No.
Not easy.
Yeah.
What did you do?
Let's see. Oh gosh, what did I do?
Oh, you went to a sugar daddy bar.
That's right. I went out with our good friend Kimmy, friend of the pod, and she invited me out last minute, and I was like, yeah, why not? I haven't gone out, and we went to this place, A's in Crystal Cove. It's right near Javier's Mastro's down in Newport. Never been, didn't know it existed.
It's new.
Yeah, it's 100% a sugar daddy, sugar baby bar, where it's literally 60-year-old men and 20-year-old women, or 30s.
I'll send my sister there.
No,
Yeah,
so
I mean-
I'm going to go make a paycheck over there.
It was wild. It was wild. It was so much fun. The DJ was great, playing really great music. They had this cute little photo booth. But it was popping, and there's just a bunch of daddies all around.
That was a place we were considering going to before we went to, was it Bellows?
Bellows. Yes.
Yeah, we were considering
yes,
there,
yes.
and Jackie went, and she
Oh, yeah.
she
It's-
said, if you want to produce an income,
Yes. No, yeah, true
I'll
story.
be going there every weekend.
same. We're going together.
No, but it was wild. I was just like, oh my God, because I've never been in that situation. Like, even when you go to LA, you can kind of sometimes, if you're
It's not like that, though,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not like that. Or sometimes if you're at hotel bars, like you can kind of see some stuff going down, or like in Vegas, but like
It's like
that's
one
Vegas.
couple.
Yeah, it's like one or two, but this
Yeah.
was like full. Like that was what you were here to do. And so it was. I love people watching, especially.
She's the worst. Let's just break into this because there's
I love people
there's
watching.
one
love
thing as
it.
being a discreet people watcher, and then there's an Anita watcher.
And then there's like Anita with the binoculars.
That's literally her.
I just stare.
Between her and my dad, it is so bad because when I'm out with either of them, they make their staring so obvious,
obvious.
that I have to be like, "Can you stop staring?" Because they'll just be like eating. And like,
Like trying to read lips. I'm like, I think they're fighting. She caught him again.
literally.
I don't catch myself doing that, but she just points it out to
Marcus
me that
has
I
the
do.
same thing.
I do.
Marcus
I do
stares.
stare.
No,
but
he
he
comments
points
on
it out.
her.
she has to kind of, hey, stop.
Because she won't even blink. She won't even break the stare.
I love it. No, that is Anita. We'll have to go out and people watch. But no,
It's so
'cause
interesting.
It's so interesting.
And you always wonder what their story is.
Oh, yeah.
What's their life
Yeah.
about?
You know what?
It is interesting, but you have to be discreet.
Yeah, you have to be discreet. Yeah, you can't bust out your binoculars. Anita. Taking notes.
She's like taking photos.
Yeah, she's taking photos. Like,
Sometimes I
like
do.
so obvious. The flash is on.
I have discreetly taken pictures.
No, the flash is on. It just goes up in their face.
Oh my God. It's like, oh no. I love it. I love people watching. It's honestly one of my favorite things. And yeah, this bar was like perfect for it.
Yeah.
So that was me. I was discreetly taking photos, and I sent Sana photos the next day. She's like, "What are these?" Because they were like all
so
blurry.
bad.
They're
I just see
so
like a bunch
bad.
of old men everywhere.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what I was trying to show you. No, but true story. One of the girls that was hanging out with us, her and her friend were kind of just like going around the bar, just like whatever, introducing themselves to some of these men. And one guy totally blitzed out of his mind. Older, like probably mid-60s or so, maybe even older, but probably mid-60s, told her, oh, I just spent $2,000 tonight, like on alcohol. And she's like, what? Like, I don't believe you. Like, $2,000, like, what are you buying? And he's like, yeah, $2,000. And then she's like, no, like, you're lying. I guess he pulls out a wad of cash and hands her $100. Just literally gives her $100.
Oh my gosh.
And she like looks at us from across the bar and she's like, look what I got. And she comes back and we were like, what the hell? And we're like, did he like proposition you right now? Like, what is this for? And she's like, no, he was just telling me how much he spent and gave me money. And I was like, okay, bye.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm gonna
It
say
was wild.
if people see me there every weekend, don't question.
Yeah.
don't ask questions.
If you see us there, no, you didn't.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
No, you
If it's
didn't.
every Friday and Saturday. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Mind your business.
If I certainly have like a G-Wagon, don't ask.
Yeah, don't ask. You know what? If I randomly come into some money, if you see me on vacation more than usual, no, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Just mind your business.
Mind your business.
No, but that was fun. It was a good time. Just watching
Sounds
was
like
just, just to like,
Well, Anita and her cougar friends are gonna go there now.
oh,
Well, I'm just gonna go there and see if I can get some clients
yes.
that have,
Yeah,
just never
casually
know.
just like leave your card on the bar.
Yeah,
like, what? Oh my
exactly.
god,
Uh-huh.
It's
That's
business.
me.
I don't know if Anita
Yeah.
has a clan of her and her cougars. So
I love it. Oh
do.
yeah, the Cougar Clan. Yeah,
Clan.
go have a good time. Go meet some very interesting people.
yep,
Yeah, you get
get
the,
a few clients
yeah,
and a
Yeah.
few hundreds while we're at
yeah,
it.
a few hundreds. Yeah.
Sounds like a fun night.
Yeah, if you need a wish list of things that you would like from these men, I'm sure Son and I could provide some purses,
Some
some
links.
bags, some links,
Direct links.
Amazon wish list,
Yeah.
Nordstrom wish list. But yeah, no, it was fun. It was a good time. But just wild. I've never been to any place like
Yeah,
that
me either.
before. So
But what's that other place? 333. Is it 333?
Yeah, it's not
yeah,
around
but
anymore.
it's not there
But they said that
anymore.
also used to be a spot.
because
I've
I've
never
gone there
been.
a
No,
couple
but it
times.
wasn't like that.
It wasn't as
no,
bad.
it wasn't like that.
Wasn't
I
as
used to go
bad.
to 333.
Yes.
It wasn't like that. It was more of just hanging out, a really cool bar, bar food, but it
was right
upscale,
on the water.
right on the
Yeah.
water, right next to Seoul.
Yeah.
People used to say it was a place to find a sugar
I
daddy.
went there a few times and like it was fun and like they would have a
It's
DJ
fun.
sometimes. Like it was like it was a fun time. Like there definitely were a few of the kind of sugar daddies, a little bit of the sugar baby action, but it wasn't like this place, I'll tell you that. But yeah, we'll have to go.
This place sounds like Foxfire.
Yes,
That used to be
Foxfire.
in
I was
Anaheim
just gonna-
Hills.
yes.
I've never been there, but I've heard about it. And it's just
Foxfire.
like,
I've
never been there. I didn't even heard
that's
about it.
where
Oh my gosh.
it's not there anymore.
So, yeah,
But,
so
it sounds just like Foxfire.
That was literally right down the street from where I grew up.
Oh, so you
Like,
know all about
so knew all about Foxfire because it was crazy. It was like the resident like upscale dining place of
Yep.
Anaheim Hills besides
Yes.
Orange Hill,
Yes.
right? It's like Orange Hill, White House, and like Foxfire were like kind of the three, and like fine dining establishments and. All like they always had a bar, but it never had that reputation until one day. Like it just snapped, it just switched, and it
Yep.
was like Cougar Town.
yes.
Like
Big time.
people would be like, or catch a granny there type thing. Like
Catch a
I
granny.
mean, and it was one of
It's
those
so
things.
true.
Like
Yeah.
not to be tacky, but it was just like if you couldn't go and like get some there, like something was wrong because that was like
It was too easy.
It was too easy. Shooting fish in a barrel, like type of easy.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened. And then they built out the patio. It was wild. I have no idea what happened to Foxfire. And it just, it
just
no
took
longer,
off,
it
yeah.
took off. So, it's not there
yeah.
anymore, but I think it's a Bevmo. But
yeah, that's right. Venmo's
very
there.
fitting. But no, that was a racket. Oh man, yeah, that was pretty wild. But no, it was fun. Other than that, didn't do like too much. I don't know. I had fun. I saw a friend. He's from out of town, so that was nice. And yeah, so an easy peasy weekend.
Fun.
Very fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
sounds fun.
Yeah. All right. So getting into today's episode.
Yes.
Of why we have the always stunning Anita with us. So we had a request from one of our viewers, listeners, after we talked about how to support your single friends, basically the shit to stop saying to them.
Yeah.
And one of our viewers commented and said, I really love this. This is very helpful, but I would love to know from a parent's perspective on how to support kind of like your single kids. It's a completely different.
Well, yeah, it was more my kids in their 30s.
Yeah, my kids in their 30s,
Yeah.
they're still single, they're navigating their dating life in the dating world. And again, it's very different than, again, your generation and how, dating just was. And it's trash now.
I think it was dating and just supporting your kids,
Yes.
having open dialogue,
Yes.
having, there's
because
a lot
again,
of,
because we were saying, hey, this is not what to say to your friends, or this is the stuff to stop saying to them, or how you can support them. And so this was from a parent type of view of how do you do that with your 30-year-old single kids, basically.
or 30-year-old kids in general.
30-year-old kids in general. Very, very true. Kind of like adult children. So we thought, why not bring Anita and have her
Well,
share
we
her
have a very
wisdom.
good relationship.
Yes.
And it's always been pretty open. Obviously, there's probably some things she doesn't know, but in general,
Yeah, I don't think as a parent you want to know everything anyway.
Very true.
But
Yeah.
you do want to know 80%,
Yes.
of what's going on in your kid's life, having that open dialogue. So it is important. And I don't want to know everything.
Right. Yeah.
That's for her friends to know.
No,
you
but it's
know?
true. Yeah, because at a certain point, I mean, obviously growing up, you're
And-
not
yeah,
your
and
child's friend.
Exactly. And I feel like even though her and we have a good relationship, she's open with me, but I always feel there's a boundary of a parent and a friend. So being a parent, there's that boundary where she's not going to tell me something, maybe because out of respect.
Right.
So things that she won't share with me that she will with her friends,
Right.
that are her age, her peers. So I respect that. I don't want to know everything,
Yeah.
but I do want to know 80% of what's going on in her life, the people she meets,
Yeah.
just things like that. So
Just kind of her everyday,
Her
what
everyday,
she's doing,
yes.
like how she's navigating her life, like
things that are bothering me.
yeah,
just
things that
anything.
you're
Feeling-
Yes.
dealing with, which is no, I mean, but I think you're right. I think you make a very good point about having that boundary between parent and friend. and that there is kind of just like, there is a line.
There is
still a line.
Yes, a lot of parents think, oh, I'm their friend. Yeah, you can be their friend by, now that she's 30, she understands life a lot more than she did 10 years ago, right? But still, there's that parent.
Right.
I'm still a parent.
Right.
And I hold, that's my role in her life.
I was just going to say that's your role.
Right? That's the role in my life. So my role is not a friend. You are her friend.
Yes.
So as a parent, there has to be a boundary of how much we can discuss and, and at the end of the day, I feel as a parent, I have to guide my child, even at 30 or whatever, whenever she steers in the wrong way that I feel, I got to kind of help her, bring her back, or at least talk to her about it. And, show her my perspective. That doesn't mean it's 100% correct, but at least I feel that is my responsibility in teaching her or showing her.
Yeah, always.
So,
how did you, because I think this would be interesting, is how did you cultivate that? Because that's something that I've always noticed, or as long as I've known Sana, she's always been very open and honest, right? And she, maybe even after, she may tell you things that happen after. Like, okay, so this happened. Yeah. But I've always admired that. So how did you cultivate that type of relationship to have open dialogue? Like, is that something that you had, or because you didn't, you wanted to do it with your children?
I didn't have that with me, with my parents. My parents really old school. They're born and raised in India. Even though they raised us in the Western world, their thought process was very much like the Indian traditional way.
Right.
So, and it was a void for me not to be able to communicate with my parents the way how Sana does with me. And I just felt that void, and you always look for that outside because you can't get it at home.
Yeah.
So you look for it in your friends or in the way you behave with meeting guys. So I wanted to not have that kind of relationship with my daughter. And I felt, okay, what do I do to, help her and my relationship?
No, you just feel like you just wanted to make sure that they had that then. Or
where she can come and talk to me. And with me and my her dad, my ex-husband, he's a little bit more traditional. So she comes to me more of what she can say, even in her, when she talks to boys or wherever she goes, or in her style, in her clothes, whatever she does, she feels she can come and talk to me.
Right.
And I wanted that. So that's because it was a big void in my life. I wanted that communication with her.
Which is amazing. I mean, especially because that's something that we kind of touch on, obviously, in the pod of the traditional family.
Yeah. Well, I think we had a balance where it's like, it's not that I didn't have any rules. Like there was curfew, there was a lot of, she was not like, go and do whatever you want. There were definitely rules, but I didn't have to face what a lot of my friends had to face, especially coming from an Indian background where things are a little more conservative and all that. I mean, ever since I've been in high school, I've been in college, I have never had to hide. I didn't have to hide what I'm wearing. I didn't have to hide where I'm going. I was allowed to have friends at the house all the time. I was even guy friends. My mom knew all my guy friends. Yeah. My house was a house everybody would come and hang out at when we were younger, or high school, college. And it was never oh my God, why are you talking to boys or any of that? My mom was okay with me having guy friends. She was okay with me going to prom. I didn't have to lie about going to the club. I didn't have to lie about drinking. Everything has been open, which I'm grateful for, because I feel like a lot of my friends didn't have that. So they were doing a lot of things behind their parents' back. Oh, yeah. And then, not that it would really happen with any of my friends in particular, but you do notice that the ones that are held back and conservative, they go off the deep end. The second they get a touch of freedom, it's wild child.
Right. Well, and as someone who did have to hide a lot, and not that I was doing anything, crazy, but it was, hiding, a change of clothes in my backpack at the very bottom under my books and binders, and then changing at school. I remember in junior high, we would have dances on Fridays, which those were the best, but I would lie though, and I would say like, "Oh, I'm doing extra credit," or I don't know. I would say something because and it is actually makes such a huge difference when your child can have an open dialogue. Not like, I think you made a really good point. Not that you were free of any rules. It wasn't like you were. It's not like the mom in Mean Girls, right?
No, it wasn't like that.
Like, if you're going to drink, I'd rather you do it in the house.
No, it wasn't like that. She wasn't giving us alcohol. It was not like that.
Exactly.
One time I did find a bottle in her bedroom. I was looking for something, and I don't know why I opened one of her drawers, but there was a bottle of alcohol. I'm like, what? What's it doing here?
I think I was
maybe
like 20.
She was in high school. I don't know.
No, I was
where
not.
it
I never drank in high school. It was
don't know.
college. I think I was
it?
20 because
Okay.
I had a fake ID when I was
found
20.
something. I'm
But
like-
I was at 20. You're basically 21.
Well, the law would say different. So,
According to my ID, it was 21. But I that's the thing. What's interesting though, right? Because I had, not that my mom would condone me drinking in high school, because there's no way in hell she would have, but I didn't.
Question though,
I
then.
didn't drink anything in high school. I've never done drugs. I've
Right.
never, and I wasn't, But
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that because you had such an open dialogue with her, that kept you from doing anything, or just like wasn't in you to do that?
I think it's a mixture of both. Like, I think it was personality. I think it was also like I wasn't in this like tight bubble where I felt like I need to like escape and rebel and all these things. Like, yeah, for sure in my teen years, we fought all the time.
Oh, of course. Yeah. That's
but
standard.
that we did go through that, but I didn't feel the need to, I don't know. I guess it just did. I think you get more curious when you can't do things.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
not that she was like letting me party and stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think about that though, because in my family, like growing up, like it was very strict, and I am thankful for things that my parents did do.
Yeah, of course.
It's really funny because growing up, my dad had this thing called a 3-day rule. And we had to ask to go do something. We had to ask at least 3 days in advance. And of course, at the time, you're like, this is dumb. This is so stupid. Like, what do we have to do this for? And then it's not until you're an adult and you start hearing about all of like people, especially young girls, who get, assaulted by neighbors, by friends, right? And their dads or brothers or something that molested, like all this different stuff. And so that was always his thing, was just to kind of like, he needed to know who it was.
Yes.
And there's times where he wouldn't let us sleep over. And then of course, you were like, oh my God, like I'm missing out on all this. And then you don't realize it till you're an adult and you're like, oh wow.
No, it's just
Sleepovers were always at our house.
But then
I wouldn't allow
only
her to
if
go.
my mom truly knew them.
Yes.
Yes.
She would let me.
Yes.
But
that's a good mom. That's a good parent right there.
Yeah, I was not allowed to, and even then, like, she would call. Like, I remember
verify.
one time in high school, one of my friends was like throwing a high school party.
Oh yeah.
And like my mom's like, and her mom, she had a really chill mom. Like her mom was, her mom was letting, I didn't drink them, but her mom was letting it happen.
Yeah.
Mom's like, well, you can't go unless I speak to her mom. So I still had like those type of things happening.
Yeah.
And I was the tougher parent out of the two.
Yeah.
Her dad
Right.
is much more relaxed. Even today, we have a great relationship, her dad and I. But even today, he's still chill.
Well, in different things.
Yeah.
Like my dad's just more calm as a person.
Yes.
Got it.
She's more fiery, like where I am,
Yes.
where we're just gonna go rip at it.
Yeah,
Versus
yeah.
my dad's like, no, cool and collective, like stay calm, let's talk about this, and my mom will just go off.
Yeah. No.
So
I mean,
like-
there was a balance. You got kind of
well, I was
But
kind
I
of
think growing up, because I got divorced when she was only 5.5,
was young.
between 5 and 6. So I pretty much had them all the time.
right.
So it was my parenting. I mean, she did have a balanced life, but it was more of me, and it was strict.
Yeah.
and I would be, thinking back, I would be kind of manipulative on this, where I'd be like, she says no, I call my dad.
Yeah.
Mom said no.
Yeah.
And I pin it against each other.
Yeah.
I would do that all the
She
time.
would do that a lot more than her brother.
Yeah, I would do that all the time. I'd be like,
Yes.
well, I'm calling dad.
Yes.
bratty
You
teenage
little
me.
brat.
Bratty teenage me. If my mom said
Such
I
a
couldn't do
brat.
something, I'd be like,
was.
well, then what is dad going to say about this?
Oh my God, such a punk.
I was like, our
can't.
teenage years, I do feel bad because I was a little bratty. I was rebellious and not like I was doing bad things, but I just had the attitude. I had the,
Right.
if I'm not getting my way, then I'm going to make a stink about it.
Yeah.
And I was rebellious in that way where it's like, how are you going to tell me no? But it wasn't ever to do bad things.
It was
if
just
that makes
like-
sense.
Well,
because I never
yeah.
had a sip of alcohol. I had friends
Yeah.
that were drinking in high school.
Yeah.
But that is a bad thing. no,
it is, but
Well, you know what? It's
that is a bad thing.
I mean, it depends, right?
Well, how you're looking at it, right?
No, but it's true. Like if, like for me, growing up, like if, like especially when I was like obviously under 18 or like under like around like 20 or whatever, if my it was like under 18. If my parents said I couldn't go, I'm not going. Like that's it. Like there's no like, oh, I don't care.
She challenged me.
When I was under 18, it was like absolutely not. Once I got to 18, then it was like, hey, like so I'm gonna go to dinner tonight with my friend, you know, so and so. So I wasn't really asking. I was like letting my parents know when I was gonna go. I still had a curfew. I had a curfew.
Same.
No, I had a curfew all the way up until I moved out, which was probably around like 26. So because that was. Hey, I'm living under my parents' roof.
Yeah.
That's what they said, so that's what I'm going to have to do.
Can you say that again one more time, what you just said? Repeat that line.
Well,
You know how like you know your parents?
Yeah.
And I don't even want to say this on here because now she's going to switch up. But like you know how much you can push.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. That is true.
You know where it's crossing the line and
Yeah.
where like, oh, she'll be fine in the morning. you know
It's fine. It's
you
fine.
can ask Samir too. We know where we can with both parents how far we can.
Yeah, how
you
far
know
you
that
can
with
push it.
yours too.
Yeah.
She can push, but at the same time, it's like so inconsiderate of what you're putting your mom through. Of the sleepless night. You know, I had those sleepless nights when when she was a baby, and now I'm feeling
now
I have
You wanted a baby.
But
back.
one thing I have to say that I have her on location. I've had her on location for a long time. I don't remember how long
ever
it's
since
been.
the iPhone has.
But yeah, and she never fights me.
Yeah.
With that, which is
Yeah.
good because
because I'm never somewhere I'm not supposed to be.
or
Yeah.
she lies.
Yeah.
You know, she never lies and says, "Oh, I'm going to be here," and go. And it's not like I'm looking all the time where she's
Right.
at. But like if
But
she
it's
tells me
honestly
she's
for safety.
Yes, it's only for safety, and I kind of
Yeah.
rescued her not
Yeah,
too long
we'll-
ago.
we'll get into that.
I rescued her not too long ago, so I just
there
and
was. I will say.
yeah
On
So
certain
it's-
nights, it's good to have your mom on location in
Yes.
case you're in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
And there's
heading
some-
to a certain city.
There's some girls that don't do that, don't allow their
Right.
parents or mom to have them on location. So I am very proud of her for, sharing that
Yeah.
with me and not hiding anything. And
Right.
and she's always where she tells me she's going to be. So there's no need for her to lie to me.
See, and
you
that's
know?
the key, I think, is that there's no, I think that for a parent, and I mean, obviously this is just from my childless perspective, but I think that's the key is making sure that it's an environment where they don't have to lie. And like, yes, of course they're going to want to do things that you are like, no, because I'm your parent. I also know better than you.
Right.
That's my job. And so, yeah, there are going to be times where, no, you're not going to get to do what you want to do. But I think in creating that environment of, hey, trust but then comes respect. So then they're not going to sit there and like, okay, well, I'm going to lie to her or do this. Like, it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, because there is that kind of give and take, and you are allowing them to kind of, step by step become an adult and make their own decisions and choices.
And she's done a really good job. So far, I really trust her. I feel her judgment's been really good. Sometimes, she kind of goes sideways.
We all have those.
But, she's been really good. Even like dating, even casually, she goes out with some guys. She'll tell me, I want to know because she knows that I would want to know where she's going, if she's going to
totally.
go LA, South County, wherever. She's very open with me. With her relationships too, like she had a long relationship with someone that she broke up with, and I don't push her, hey, what did you do? You must have done something wrong, and blame her. I listen to what she has to say and check in on her, how she's doing. I support her in her decision, and I never feel like with Indian culture, it's like, okay, don't bring someone home unless you're really serious with them, and which I do admire that. But even though she has brought someone home, I will never pressure her, oh, well, now the whole world knows about you dating this person, being with them for so long, has gone on every vacation, family trip
Weddings,
with us.
that's the one thing I love about my mom.
Everybody knew about this person.
He's met my extended family.
Yeah,
like
he's
everything.
a great guy, but but it just didn't work out for her for whatever reason, right?
Right.
But I, as a mom, have to support her in her decision. And if I let her down, then everybody's going to look upon her that way.
Yeah.
So I have to let everyone know it was her decision and I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
So then I don't give a chance to someone else to talk anything about that, right?
That's such a good point.
Anything negative about, oh, look at her, she was dating this person for so many years and now this and that. If you support your kids, then you don't allow that negativity to come into their space.
That's such an excellent point, actually, that I never really thought of from that perspective, is that, like if you're the one who, if you're like talking shit on your own kid,
you're
then
opening the door.
You're opening a door and you're giving license for other people to then criticize and pass judgment when it's really, when they don't even know the intricacies. Like, you know more than that person does, and you don't even know 100%, right? Like nobody's ever going to know 100% other than the people that were in the relationship. Right. But that is such a good point. So that's kind of I guess a question is where, because again, I know in traditional families, again, like just, we always say like two brown girls, right? So within both of our communities, like marriage, children, especially for women, is huge. So why because it sounds like, obviously, and I know you, so you haven't taken that approach of like pressuring her into being married or like making those comments of like, when are you going to be married and blah, blah, blah. Like what made you choose to support versus pressure her?
Because I see her super happy in what she's doing. Marriage is, if the right person comes into her life, great. But until then, I'm not going to put that additional pressure on her. She must be already feeling, hey, I'm 30, I'm not married, my friends are getting married, or whatever her surroundings are, right? As a mom, I just want to see my kids happy.
Yeah.
Whether they're married or not, I even tell her, if she finds the right guy, a great guy for herself, great. If not, be happy in your life. If you want a child, adopt a child.
Right.
But I want to see my kids happy. Whatever decision they make, I want to see them, because that's my ultimate goal. As a parent, she could get married and be in an unhappy situation, and then what?
It's true.
Right? So I love seeing her in her life, the way she's handling it right now.
Yeah.
She's traveling. She spends time with you guys. Even when she was dating, what I admired about Sana was she really always had a balanced life.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of those things where, oh, I'm dating somebody, so now I'm strictly 100%.
Her life becomes consumed by
with
that
this person. No. That's such a big learning lesson, because a lot of people go in that direction, but Sana always balanced her life. And I love the friends that she has. They're all different cultures. It's just not Indian. She has so many different types of,
very eclectic,
friends that are different nationalities, from Nordstrom to school to high school, just a great variety of different places where she's met people. But it's just, I want to see my kids happy. My son, for instance, I say, hey, Samir, when are you going to get married? He might never get married.
Right.
But he's open about that.
He might never get married. But I'm cool with it,
Right.
He has an ambition. He's driven. He's working. He has a certain lifestyle that he wants. So if he achieves that, that's going to be my satisfaction as a mom. I'll be happy for him, And same with Sana. She will find the right person when that right person is supposed to come. I don't want her feeling anxiety or pressure from me as a mom, because I feel as a mom, when you put those pressures on your children, it impacts them so much more greater as well, and she's already feeling that. Now you're saying it, so it just makes it worse.
Yes.
Or you feel like they might rush into a bad decision.
Yes, and I don't want that. I don't. Yeah. I am so happy. She is living the life that I always wanted to live, I live through her vicariously. I do. The things that I couldn't do, She travels, she's making plans already for the whole year. In 30 years, she's accomplished so much more than I had at that age, you know. No regrets at 30. I did have 2 kids.
I don't have that.
And I was married, but it was a different time, you know.
Oh, yeah.
My parents wouldn't have allowed me to do what she was doing, you know. It was get married and your husband will support you and you be the domesticated homemaker and take care of your children.
Take care of the kids, take care of the house. Yeah,
which was great, but I want what she has and I'm happy. And she's a happy girl as far as I know. So
she is.
Yeah. So I don't want to. There should never be pressure.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be. Your kids' ultimate happiness, however that happiness is, should be the parents are going to be happy seeing that they're happy. You know.
Yeah.
So,
and that's like one big thing I admire about my mom is that she took her situation she grew up in and didn't like it and was like, I'm not going to do this to my kids. Versus I feel like a lot of parents were like, well, this is how I was raised. This is how you're going to be raised.
No.
Versus she was like, no, I want you to have what I didn't have.
Yeah.
And I think that's such an important perspective to have because I see so many people in our community that they're getting raised exactly how their parents got raised.
Right.
And there's no evolution. There's no growth. There's no change. Like, versus my mom looked at it and was like, no, that's not what I want for my kids.
Right.
I want them to enjoy. I want them to get everything I didn't have.
Right. Well, no, and it's very true. That's something that I do appreciate about my parents as well. That pressure is not there, and specifically from my mom, she says the same thing. She got married very young. She was 20 when she got married, and then 21 when she had her first child. So it's just like, oh my God. I couldn't even imagine that. Like
I can imagine it right now.
And we all want things that we don't have. Isn't that? She has curly hair. I want curly hair, straight hair, right? So talk to the women that are married. They're gonna say, "Oh, well,
I wish
exciting.
I wasn't married." Yeah.
I wish I wasn't married in the sense because life is so different. Raising children, blah blah blah. The honeymoon's over,
right?
But there's still a beautiful part of being married if you have the right companion. You share your life with that partner. It's a partnership.
Right.
It's not a solo, okay, he makes all the decision because he makes the money. No.
Right.
It's a partnership because they're 2 lives, you know, and they've been brought up and raised in a different family. So your views are going to be different. His views are going to be different. So hopefully try to bring them together and come to a happy medium, right?
Right.
So it's not always, oh gosh, look at their life, looks great on Instagram, but it's not like that, right?
Right.
So they want your life, the single life. Hey, when I was single, I was going out and I had nothing to worry about and this and that. So I feel, we all want what we don't have, but there's a time and place when it's gonna come. It shouldn't be rushed, and it will happen when it's supposed to happen.
No, totally. No, yeah. And that's, like I said, I'm grateful for that because, again, coming from, Hispanic family, it could definitely have gone that way of just, and I think within, like, especially within the Latin community, a lot of women are told that just, like, you are basically, you need to use your, sexual self to land a man, and you want to land a rich one. And then you're taken care of, and that's it. And then you just pop out kids and you take care of the house, and that's all that there is. Yep. And thankfully, like, my mom didn't come from like a super, super traditional Hispanic family. My grandparents were very traditional, but it's weird. I don't think that they really like put that on her. I think she put it on herself. But because of it, though, she always would say, like, because I talked to her about like being married and all this different stuff, and she's just like, I'm telling you, like, you want to go and experience life. You do. And just like go travel, go. And she would always be like, I really wish I would have just like even just lived on my own for a year, because she went from her parents' house, straight, then to marrying my dad, and then they moved in, and she's like, I just wish that I had independence for a year, but also a part of that is not just like independence within kind of just the natural, but like with yourself.
Yeah.
Like how much she would have learned about herself, and, would have had a chance to start discovering in things that she liked or didn't like or wanted in life, which I think is amazing that you've given that to her, especially like how you said, Sana, breaking kind of that very traditional, maybe kind of hard mindset.
Yeah.
And maybe because I wasn't born and raised in India, I've always been in the Western world. I was born in Kenya, but maybe that has a big
I don't
part
know.
of it.
I don't think so because a lot of people still come because I don't even dad. Okay, for example, my
but
dad.
he came here in his 20s.
He came here in his 20s, and he's not.
Right,
he's
but
not like backwards thinking. He lets us be free and do what we want.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
He does.
The thing, what's interesting about my dad, right? So my dad, for whoever, my mom is Hindu and my dad is Muslim. So, we have conflicting religions as is, but in Islam, you can't drink alcohol, right? My dad practices religion, but my dad knows that we grew up in the circumstances that we grew up in. Not
Right.
once does he tell us, you can't go out partying, you can't be drinking. Hell, my brother drinks in front of him.
Yeah.
And like we're not like, he's not like, he
strict.
understands that
Yeah.
we
The
grew up
environment.
here. He understands that we were raised by a Hindu mom.
Right.
A lot of people don't have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think it makes a difference being born here or not because my dad came here in his 20s.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people came here in their 20s.
Yeah.
But it's just, they haven't evolved. They haven't. And
That's what I was going to say. I think that it's more just you haven't made that choice to, and it's not about adopting a Western, civilization or, U.S. mindset. It's not about that. It's just recognizing that, like, I want my daughter and my son, I want them both to learn about themselves and everything that you didn't have, like, go have a career, go travel, go, again, experience life before you then maybe step into a marriage and family because your whole entire life changes. And, like you said, you wouldn't regret it, but okay, yeah, I had 2 kids and I was divorced. Like, that kind of sucks, Like, if you had to do it all over again, like, you wouldn't give up the kids, but,
No, that's true. But being raised in that environment and then getting divorced wasn't a fun part. But after I got divorced, I really discovered myself. I started working. I met people. I started going out, things that I couldn't do when I was at home.
Right.
she basically went from home to marriage.
Yes.
Like your mom,
Yep.
right? So at that time, but still, I still had to be careful because I had young children. So it wasn't like I was bringing men over and gallivanting. I was
Yeah.
a very responsible mom.
Right.
I took a lot of time and spent time in their school.
Yeah.
She was
The
super
room mom.
super
No, she was our room
active.
mom. She
I
was
love
super
that.
involved.
Super
Yeah.
involved. That's how I've met some of my friends, some of my really good friends. So I was very involved in their school. So my first and foremost priority were my children.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I have a great man in my life right now, but my kids, even today, they're my priority. I mean, they're older adults, but so when they were younger, it was more so. But I feel like if you support your children and give them that confidence and the okay of being single or at whatever age,
Yeah.
then they will feel that they've got that support and they don't have to be married.
Right.
The parents play such a huge role in a child's life.
Oh, they do.
And when there's that acceptance, when the parents accept you of who you are and what you're doing, nothing matters.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Nothing else
Yeah,
matters.
funny part. I have a therapy bill to prove
no,
it.
but,
Yes,
but I always say that,
matters.
like, if my parents know what I'm doing and if they're okay with what I'm
Nothing
doing,
matters.
I always say, no, whatever other people's opinions are, don't matter to me.
don't.
They don't. Like, if people think whatever they want, but as long as my parents are okay with it, like, other people's opinions don't bother me.
They don't.
Yeah. No, it's very true. I remember in like when we were at Nordstrom and just even like I don't know, just like learning about you, just like, you know, how close you are with your mom and then seeing like your relationships, because I've seen you through like 2 serious relationships. And I always remember you saying like, it's just obviously very important what my mom thinks. And, you know, and it's just like, you know, it's true. Like it just really does, because there's been that respect though. She's allowed you to become your own person. But because of that, you then, you know, respect her and you respect her opinion because, you know, she's given you that freedom.
I mean, totally. I mean, even with my last boyfriend, where it's for the longest time, it took my mom a while to get around to it. Mm-hmm. And I'm more like, her decision, like her opinion, all that matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
But when I know I'm not doing anything wrong, like it's more like I need to like show her
Right.
why it's okay. Like I will fight for it. I'm not going to just be like, well, my mom said no, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and
I asked my mom, she said no.
That's why she said no.
no.
So like
You know?
it did, but I'm not going to sit here and say like it didn't feel nice that she didn't support it, which is another thing I like about my mom, where it's like, well, okay, I don't like what you're doing, but I'm not going to disown you for doing it.
Right.
I'm not.
And that happened to me. Okay, so my parents didn't talk to me for a year and a half when Sana's dad and I got married. So not only my parents, but my whole entire family didn't talk to me. So that really has bothered me. I mean, for the longest time, I've let it go now.
Right.
But it really ate me up. It's like, especially after being a parent, it's like how do I not talk to my kids for a year and a half?
Right.
It's a decision that they made. It wasn't like they went and did a bad crime.
Right.
So for me to ever think of a day going by where I'm going to disown my kid or not talk to them because of the decision they've made would be really my loss.
Yeah.
It would be my loss because they're going to continue doing what they're going to do. And sometimes we don't agree, but we have to support.
Yes.
We have to support as parents.
Yeah.
Right? So that's, initially I didn't agree with her relationship. Right? But once I got to meet him, he came around. My son got to meet him first. My niece and nephew, and they're like, and my son was telling me, give him a chance and this and that. And then it's true. It resonated. It's like, how can I say this person is not good or good for my daughter until I meet him and make that decision for myself?
Very true.
Until I meet him.
Very true.
Just from what I hear, I'm making that judgment, right? Which is incorrect. So I am learning from my children as well, of things, of life.
But it was not fun, right? Obviously, we would fight and argue. But it was never like, well, if you date him, get out of my house,
or
don't ever come back.
We're not talking.
It was never like that.
Yeah. No. Which
I would never do that.
But that's fantastic from your viewpoint to like not carry like, for lack of a better term, like the like toxic kind of thinking and nature of kind of the very uber traditional family that like
I know. Even my cousins, if any of my cousins did this, their parents would be like, not everybody, even in my own immediate family, they're not as open-minded as she is.
Which I think is incredible because then
I'm considered the rebel and the black sheep of my family.
Which translated a little bit.
But I don't think I'm doing anything wrong.
No, and that's my message. I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, right? And I think we think the same.
Like, my whole life, I don't feel that I was doing anything wrong. My generation got so screwed.
Yeah.
Okay, we got so screwed because our
arranged marriage, they forced the marriage.
Were just very backward in thinking and raising us in this Western world where we're seeing... the Western world has a lot of good things to offer as well.
Yeah.
If you mix the two, East and West, it's beautiful blend.
Absolutely.
And I just was considered a black sheep, bad girl because of the normal things, talking to a guy or wanting to date or going out with your friends.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, know.
Yeah.
But God forbid my mom ever saw me talking to a guy. Her eyes would be popping out and
her head,
she'd be like, can't wait for you to come home because she's going to be so upset at me.
Yeah.
It was just so... I didn't like that feeling.
Oh, absolutely.
So I just don't want that for my kids.
Yeah. No, and that's kind of what I experienced as well. I actually just talked to my therapist about this. But no, growing up, we weren't allowed to really, I had told my therapist, we weren't really allowed to kind of like be teenage girls in that sense of like, I like boys and I'm attracted to boys.
Right?
And, you're going through puberty and your hormones are everywhere.
And it's natural.
And that's the thing is, that's what you are supposed to want, and, from my perspective, that's how I was created. So it was, and it's funny that, it's amazing that you took a different path because as someone, who's raised, and you could probably identify with this, like for me, like that's really done a number on me growing up. And I will say now, like there's a lot of stuff that like I'm now like acting out. in my 30s, which is like so stupid, hence the therapy. But it does do a number on you.
It does.
And it's crazy how impactful it is when you don't give your children space to, as cheesy as it sounds, like be who they are and navigate their own life. Because that's the thing. I mean, it does suck to watch somebody, and especially your own child, make a real dumbass mistake. It's hard to watch friends make really stupid decisions.
Make mistakes, make dumbass mistakes,
Yes.
but don't repeat.
Exactly, but don't repeat.
That is when you are stupid.
Yes, but you're also honest, but you're honest just like,
Yes.
how we're honest with each other. You also are honest with, Sana, and telling her like you're being dumb, or like
Exactly.
I don't support that, type of thing. But I think what a special gift you have given her, even from adolescence, that she can navigate her own life, and that she can also come to you and say, this is a decision I'm making. And you, being a parent and knowing that boundary, can sit there and say, all right, like, I love you. Like, I support you. I don't support this decision.
Right.
I don't respect it. And if you do this, you're going to get hurt. I
Right.
guarantee you're going to get hurt. But you know what? Go ahead, find out. And sure enough, they do. But what an amazing thing for them to be able to come back and know that you're not going to be like, I told you so.
Yeah.
But you're going to be like, I'm sorry that hurt you. But did you learn your lesson?
Exactly.
Well,
That
you maybe
I told
think
you
twice.
so is such an ugly thing
It
to
is.
say to
It
somebody.
is.
I told you so. What is
Yeah.
that? You're
Yeah.
just making them feel worse.
Yeah. It's like,
Right?
that's not
So
helpful.
it's unnecessary.
No,
So
absolutely.
it just support them. Sometimes, like you said, you take that path. It doesn't work out. That's fine. But you got to continue supporting your children. They look upon you for everything.
No, it's true.
At no matter what age.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
like to her. Coming to me, her dad is going to be everything for her.
Yeah. No, totally.
No matter what situation she's in.
Yeah.
Good, happy, ugly. So
Yeah, always.
support your kids, and encourage them in something that they like. Like now she wants to do something, she wants to take some training classes.
Yeah.
I told you, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I'm like, great,
Yeah, like, cool. Okay.
do what you love to do,
Right.
experience life, follow your dreams. Life is so short, it goes by so quick.
Right.
And, we have all come here with our own destiny and our own fortune. And however I was raised, I cannot pressure and put that on my kid in the sense, oh, well, I didn't have this, so you can't have this. I don't want that.
Yeah. Almost punishing them.
Yes, she
by extension.
is born with her own destiny, her own fortune, live that life.
Yeah. No. And that's incredible, again, to break that cycle because, like you said, like that wasn't something that was given to you. And so rather than carry that on and kind of, again, punish by extension, you chose. I always admire anybody who chooses to take a different path, kind of regardless of the consequences. Like how you're saying, like being the black sheep of your family.
It could be either choosing the different path or going on the same path. There's only
Right.
two roads.
There's only two roads,
right?
yeah.
So it's either continue where you were, how you were raised, or you change it.
Right. No, but I think that it's incredible. And it's funny because you may not think about it now, but just even how you're changing how her relationship will be with her children. Right.
Yeah.
And then how their relationship will be with their children. And it all started because you decided to not continue down the path that you were put on.
Yes.
Like how, because your parents were put down that path and you decided to,
But I
take a
have to
detour.
tell you, my dad, at the age in his 80s, evolved.
You did.
He became the dad that I always wanted with
Which
my
is-
children.
Which is, I mean, you know how
With
close I
my
was to my
children.
grandpa.
Yeah, you're really close
With
with him.
my kids, my sister's kids, I would watch my dad and I'm like, man, why couldn't you be this
was-
man
Yeah.
with me?
He was
Yeah.
so open-minded, which is crazy.
So open-minded.
You could know the big issue between my grandparents was that my mom married a Muslim guy, right?
Right.
And Muslim, as most people know, Muslim and Hindu, like, no way.
No way, yeah.
So you could imagine how he must have felt when my ex
It was a shaming. It was like,
Muslim, right? Where it's like, wow, you're doing what your mom did.
yeah.
but he
and
never said
he
a
never
word
said a
to my
word.
Sana. Never.
He never said, like,
Wow.
And
never-
every time he came over, he was very nice to him, very respectful both
Yeah.
ways.
Yes.
But my dad never said anything to me,
Wow.
to me,
Yeah.
his daughter, which he could have,
Yeah.
or to her.
He never said
A
and
word.
it's remarkable at somebody his age, born and raised in India, at his age was able to change. So like I don't want to hear the excuse of like that's a big thing. I don't want to hear the excuse well they weren't born here. That man in his old age evolved, right? Like ever since I could remember, my grandpa's been very open-minded about everything.
Yeah.
So like for that was like a big thing where it wasn't even like he was just accepted it. It wasn't even.
It was a choice.
Yeah.
He decided
never, maybe he thought about what happened with me and
I'm sure he might have thought. I'm sure he did.
Probably, and I feel like there's always a different dynamic between grandparents and grandchildren, and there is just like this very, very sweet love between grandparents and grandchildren. So maybe he saw that. Maybe he was like, I
think
don't
he
wanna...
also learned from it, right?
Yeah.
It could be. I don't know, but
learning from past
he
mistakes.
was incredible. Such a great dad, amazing grandfather. I mean, I feel like he fulfilled the role as a husband, as a dad, because her dad wasn't around all the time. But he just, so if he could evolve, and that's how I look at life today, if my 80-year-old dad can evolve
right
from such a traditional place where he had an arranged marriage, where he did not see my mother.
Until the day of.
Yes. Yeah. If that man can change, you can change. And the change is all up to you.
Yeah.
How much you want to change.
true.
If you are going to be worried about what people are going to say,
That's the
you will
problem with
never change.
our culture.
Yeah.
Everything is about
Everything is about
the social
everything
dynamic.
is
Social
well,
dynamic.
if you do this, what are people going to say? And literally, the second, because like I said, like Rohab's met like everybody, right? And the second I told her, I was like, I don't think things are working out right now, whatever. The first thing she said is, well, I don't want you to feel like everybody has met him and now you're in a bad situation.
Exactly.
That was the first thing she told me.
did.
You need to do what's right for you. Don't ever want you to think that
great.
because everyone has met him and that it's been out there that like now you should feel ashamed.
Yeah.
It was
And
like the
it's
first
true.
thing.
When she does get married or whatever, if anybody disrespects Sana, doesn't honor her, doesn't value her, doesn't love her, doesn't cherish her, obviously she has to give this back to that person
Right,
too.
of course.
She will always be coming back home. Because I will never say, oh, now you're married, so...
Yeah, your place is with your
place.
husband.
No.
Don't come back
But
home
my
here.
mom's generation,
but-
they went through that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure people
Absolutely.
even in
So-
my generation that have traditional parents are probably saying, no, you have to stick in it.
No.
Yeah.
And it just depends. If it's little things that they're going to work out, but if it's anything major, no.
Right.
She's coming home and she's going to be, and I always tell her that the door is always open. Because
right.
I never want her to fear, oh my gosh, I can't say this to my mom. Now I'm married. I don't want that fear
Right.
for her.
Right.
So the door is always open no matter what, because I want, raising a child is not easy. For 9 months, I love drinking chai tea. I never had tea for 9 months. Hershey's in my belly, you know. It's like, and then after that, we give her birth. I give her birth. And then raising a child is so hard.
It's so hard.
So hard. You put in so much love and time. I didn't raise her to someone to disrespect her and to treat her like crap.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not the type that's going to interfere in her life either.
Right.
Because she needs to work out her situation with whoever she's with. But if it comes down to that point where it's not working out, she's coming back home.
Absolutely.
And and that's just how it is.
Yeah. Which, but it's... You do make a good point, Sana, when you were saying, because it's not even, your grandparents had an arranged marriage. It's not even like, oh, my great-great-grandparents did. It's just, your grandparents did. Like, that's how close it still is.
Oh, so many.
You know?
All my uncles and aunts have had arranged marriages.
No, all your cousins have been arranged. Most of your cousins have been arranged.
Yes, that's right. I forget.
See, again,
on
it's
my
just
dad's side, most of them have been arranged. She's
and that's
right.
so wild.
Yeah.
So like my mom's generation, there are some in our even
and
here.
not that there, I'm sure there's ups and downs, but it's the culture. Even if you're not happy, you got to stick through it.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's a waste of life, Jackie.
Right.
That's a waste of life.
you could have imagined.
Life is such a beautiful thing to enjoy.
Right.
And it's such short-lived that you can't just be stuck in a place where you're like, okay, your family doesn't support you, so now you're in this hole, and the rest of your life you're going to be miserable, and one day you're going to die.
Right.
Life is not like that.
Yeah, life shouldn't be that.
It shouldn't. It's beautiful. Experience life, enjoy that God has given us so much that you need to enjoy life, and it's so short. So I never want my kid to ever feel that she's stuck in a place and she can't get out.
Yeah, no,
because she will
absolutely.
always have our support.
Yeah, which is incredible.
Bravo, Anita.
Bravo.
I'm blessed.
Very, very blessed. Well, thank you, Anita, for coming on.
I think
you.
I think you
for
had a lot to
having
share,
me.
and I
Yes.
do hope that some parents listen to this episode because you've
Yes.
you've seen it. That it's just a lot
It's
of
hard.
kids don't have the ability to speak their mind, do what they like. There's a lot of pressure in our culture, especially. There's a lot of pressure, whether it's marriage, career, anything. There's a lot
Right.
of pressure to be a certain way, act a certain way, and a big on, like you said, what are people going to say?
Yeah, I think.
And my mom threw out the screw what people are going to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
If the parents and to the parents that are listening out there, just support your kids. You will have such a better relationship. The communication will be open. Listen to what they're saying. Don't be ready to just go. Be at it like, okay, have that negative thought of what they're saying and retaliate with your feelings. Listen to them. And you will see how you will have this beautiful relationship that will evolve. And it's so important, in life to have that relationship with your kids.
Yeah, it's a precious one.
It is, because we all love our kids. The parents that are out there that are not supporting their kids, they love their kids.
Right.
They want to see them happy. So why not live life like that and don't waste time in being upset and not communicating and supporting each other. They need to understand where they're coming from living in this Western world.
Right. Yeah, it's such a waste of time. To be mad, to be angry,
It
or to
is.
I don't know, just to debate the things that don't matter.
Yeah.
in the end,
Doesn't. And we all want to see our kids happy. Your mom wants to see you
course,
happy no
of
matter
course.
what your decision is. And I want to see my son happy.
Yes.
Whatever her decision is. And so support your kids.
There
This
it
has
is.
been great.
Support your children.
I've loved having
Support
you
your
on.
kids. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. No, thank you so much for coming on, Anita.
Thank you
You'll
for
have to
having
come
me.
back. Such
A fan favorite, maybe.
Fan favorite. Such a treasure trove of knowledge and
Maybe we
wisdom.
bring Samir too. Just
I
the
know, right?
Let's just do it.
Samir,
Yeah.
my rebel child. But
I'm the
he's-
mini rebel. That's a
he's
true
the
rebel.
angel
Yeah, that's a
now.
true- we
yeah.
love
Now
Samir,
apparently
friend of
he's the
pod.
angel, and now I'm the
He's the
rebel.
angel.
It just
She's
just
not. Both
switches.
my
Switched.
kids- Both my kids are really amazing kids. They're awesome with the family. They're always there helping. Sana's always there helping the whole family.
Yeah.
Putting
I'm a
events
fan
together.
favorite.
She
You are a
really
fan
is.
favorite.
All my cousins praise my kids. They just say wonderful things about them because they are really great kids, very caring, loving
Yeah.
kids, and pretty much no drama.
Yeah, no, that's something that Sana's. Oh, I've loved that she's always so dedicated to her family.
She is.
And there's, it's I cannot wait to attend when she gets married, go to her wedding because I know it's just gonna be amazing.
Her wedding, her aunt's gonna.
yes.
Gonna
throw up
And just to be a part of the plan for one night.
She's gonna come out of retirement at that point.
No, but I love that. I love that you guys have always been, very close
Very, very close family.
and there's always that support because that's such a precious thing. When you don't have it, you understand just how much it really does impact your life and how much it can make a difference.
Family is everything.
Thank you so much for listening in. And thank you, Anita, for coming on. We
Thank
appreciate
you for having
it.
me.
Happy New Year,
Happy New
everyone.
Year. We'll see you next week.
Yep, next week. Bye.
Bye.